Have you ever been there? You know that moment someone just tosses out a dismissive comment,
Oh, yeah.
or they flat out refuse to admit they made a mistake, maybe twist things around a bit, and bam, you feel it, right? Your chest gets tight, thoughts are all over the place, maybe your voice even catches.
That's it, that sudden horrible feeling.
Yeah, and you realize, okay, I've just been triggered. Probably by someone showing some pretty strong narcissistic traits.
It's such a visceral thing, isn't it? That tightening, that almost disorientation, whether it's at work or, maybe with family.
Definitely.
And right then, it's like you're faced with this really clear choice. Are you going to react from that hurt place, that wound, or can you somehow find your footing, respond from a place of wisdom, keep your clarity?
That difference, wound versus wisdom, that feels really, really key here.
It is.
So, as we start to unpack this, how does just recognizing that choice change how we even approach these situations?
Well, fundamentally,
Because that's what we're trying to do in this deep dive, right? Shine a light on these really tricky dynamics in narcissistic conflict.
exactly.
Unpack the common tactics they use, and really crucially, give you, the listener, some practical tools, insights to navigate this stuff with clarity, protect yourself.
Consider it a shortcut to being informed, feeling empowered.
So how does recognizing that choice change things?
It shifts everything. Because suddenly you're not just reacting, you're thinking strategically. You move from feeling like a victim to being, a strategist in the situation.
Okay, strategist, I like that.
And that leads us right into what we call the storm of narcissistic conflict.
The storm, okay.
What people often miss is that conflict with someone showing these traits, it's almost never straightforward.
Because
Because for them, accountability isn't a good thing. It's not a virtue. They see it as a threat, a direct threat to their honestly incredibly fragile sense of self.
okay, so if their self-image is that fragile, the source material we looked at suggests they might just lash out
Right. Or deflect blame instantly.
or twist the whole story around. So how do those first reactions turn what might be a simple disagreement into this intense psychological battle?
Well, think about it. Their identity feels so shaky, right? So even a tiny critique, something minor, can trigger this huge reaction, like completely disproportionate anger or indignation.
Right, way over the top.
Then you get the deflection and denial. It's almost reflexive. They refuse to see their part in it, and somehow it always ends up being your fault.
And building on that, twisting the narrative idea, the sources really pointed to gaslighting as a big one,
Oh, absolutely. Insidious is the right word.
where they distort things so cleverly that you end up questioning your own memory or your feelings, even your sanity sometimes.
It's incredibly disorienting because it plays on our basic need to have a shared reality.
Yeah.
They mess with your internal compass, make you doubt yourself. It eats away at your self-trust.
And we also saw mentions of passive aggression. That's different, right?
Yeah, it's not the direct explosion. It's more subtle. Maybe silence, sarcasm, those little digs. Ugh, the digs.
Yeah. They just chip away at your confidence slowly. It's still about control, just quieter, colder sometimes.
Okay, so these behaviors, they're clearly designed to throw you off balance.
Totally.
But let's dig a bit deeper there. Why are they so effective? Because it feels like this storm isn't just emotion flying around, it feels strategic.
It absolutely is strategic.
Yeah.
The whole point is to destabilize you, to shift the spotlight away from their accountability.
Don't put it right onto your reaction.
Precisely. And if you're not ready for it, you get sucked in. You start defending why you said something or justifying why you feel upset.
And boom, you've lost your peace, you're caught in their game.
Exactly, which is why self-regulation becomes so important.
Right, because when you get triggered, your nervous system just goes into survival mode, doesn't it?
Yep. Fight, flight, freeze, sometimes even fawn, where you try to appease them to make it stop.
But you're saying you don't have to stay stuck there.
Absolutely not. You can choose to regulate, to ground yourself, to respond with clarity, not just react. Okay, so how do we start making that shift? Moving from the wound to the wisdom response. Let's get into some actual tools.
Right. The first one is probably the simplest, but maybe the most powerful. Just pause and breathe.
The classic advice. Does it really work in that moment?
It really does. That deep breath in through the nose, maybe hold it, then a slow exhale. It's like sending a direct message to your brain saying, okay, we're safe.
So it's physiological.
Totally. It pulls you out of that immediate reactive state, gives you just a few crucial seconds to choose how you want to respond.
Okay, breathing. Step one. What's next after you've created that tiny bit of space?
Name the trigger. Get specific in your own head. What exactly just set you off? Was it the way they denied responsibility, the manipulative tone?
Why does naming it help?
Because it separates the feeling from the person just a little. It creates mental space. Instead of just raw emotion, you have a thought, that's the gaslighting attempt. It helps you observe it, not just be consumed by it.
Makes sense. Okay, another tool the sources mentioned, statements.
Yes. Crucial. Instead of pointing the finger like, you never listened to me.
Which just makes them defensive.
Right. Try framing it from your experience. I feel unheard when my concerns get dismissed like that.
So it shifts from accusation to just expressing your feeling.
Exactly. It can sometimes lower the temperature, invite understanding instead of escalating the fight. Sometimes.
Okay, and then a big one, boundaries.
Huge. And remember, boundaries aren't punishments. They're protection for you.
So how do you state one calmly in that heated moment?
You can say something clear and direct, like, I'm not okay with being spoken to like that. If this continues, I'm going to need to step away from this conversation.
Clear, firm states of consequence.
Yes, it's about what you will do to protect yourself, not about controlling them.
Got it. And then there was that acronym JDE.
Yes, JE. Very important. Don't justify, argue, defend, or explain.
Why is avoiding those 4 things so vital?
Because justifying, arguing, defending, explaining, that's exactly what the person often wants. It feeds their need for control.
How so?
Every time you explain yourself, you're giving them more material to twist. Every time you argue, you're engaging on their terms. You get drawn deeper into their narrative.
Right, you end up defending yourself instead of addressing their behavior.
Exactly. Keep your responses clear, concise, and firm. Don't get pulled into the weeds.
Okay, so if you manage to regulate yourself, use I statements. Avoid JDE.
Yeah.
How do you actually communicate without losing your cool entirely?
Well, first, redefine what success looks like in these conversations. It's usually not about getting them to agree with you or apologize.
Right, that might be impossible.
Often, yes. So the real goal, stay anchored in your truth. Protect your own integrity and peace. That's winning.
Okay, so how do we do that practically?
Start by grounding yourself physically, like literally feel your feet on the floor. Notice your breath again.
Remind yourself you're actually safe.
Yes. Remind yourself you are in control of your response, even if you can't control them. It's surprisingly effective for just centering yourself.
Then, when you speak,
Aim for clarity and calm. Try to keep your tone neutral. Avoid sarcasm. Avoid matching their emotional intensity.
easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, for sure. But try. Say what you need to say without over-explaining. Something simple like, I understand you see it differently. I still stand by my perspective.
It acknowledges their view without validating it and holds your ground.
Exactly. It closes the door to further argument on that point without being aggressive.
Now, what about that tricky suggestion? Mirroring or validating?
Yeah.
The sources added a big caution sign there.
Yeah, tread very carefully, sometimes reflecting their words back like, okay, so what I hear you saying is you felt misunderstood when I said X. Sometimes it can lower their defenses a bit.
Makes them feel heard, maybe?
Potentially, it can sometimes open a tiny crack for dialogue, but, and this is the huge, but validation is not the same as agreement.
Critical distinction.
Absolutely critical. You have to be so careful not to accidentally enable their manipulation or concede your own reality just to keep the peace temporarily. Use it very sparingly, if at all.
Okay, good warning. What if things just get too toxic, despite your best efforts?
And then you need an exit strategy. Graceful disengagement is a skill.
What does that sound like?
It can be simple phrases. You know, this conversation isn't feeling productive right now. Maybe we can revisit it later when we're both calmer.
Buys you time, lowers the heat.
Or, honestly, sometimes the best response is just to physically walk away. If it's safe to do so, of course.
Silence can be powerful, too.
Very. Remember, protecting your peace, your emotional well-being. That is always more important than getting the last word or proving you're right.
That's a really important takeaway. Your peace matters more than winning their unwinnable game.
Absolutely. And remember, you are not defined by how they react to you.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely not responsible for their inability or unwillingness to take accountability for their own actions.
You have the right to your feelings.
You have the right to speak your truth.
And you definitely have the right to protect your emotional well-being.
100%. So just to kind of wrap things up, we've journeyed through understanding that storm of narcissistic conflict, right?
Yeah, looked at the why behind it, the strategic part.
Exactly. And then we explored some really practical tools for self-regulation and communication,
Wow.
ways to respond with that wisdom, not from the wound.
The whole point of this deep dive, really, is to give you those insights
Yeah.
so you can navigate these tough dynamics and ultimately protect your own peace.
It's about empowerment.
Definitely. So as we finish up, here's a little something for you, the listener, to maybe mull over this week.
Right.
What's one boundary? Could be tiny, doesn't have to be huge, but one boundary you could set or maybe reinforce this week, specifically to protect your emotional well-being.
That's a great prompt. Just thinking about it is a step.
Think about it, maybe even act on it. And if you want to explore this topic further,
Yeah, for further reading, we'd really recommend the book Disarming the Narcissist by Wendy T. Beharry.
good one. What's the focus there?
It's super practical, really focuses on how to manage these relationships using both empathy and strength. It's a tough balance, but she guides you through it.
Nice. And what about ongoing practices, things people can do regularly?
Well, things like daily mindfulness can make a huge difference in recognizing triggers sooner.
Building that self-awareness muscle.
Exactly. Journaling can also be really helpful for processing these interactions after the fact. And of course, actively practicing setting small boundaries regularly. It builds confidence.
Makes it easier when the big ones come up.
Definitely. And please remember, you don't have to figure all this out on your own.
Good point.
Therapy can be incredibly helpful, support groups, even just talking to trusted friends who get it. Having that validation and guidance is invaluable.
Connection is key. Don't isolate yourself with this stuff.
Absolutely. Reach out.
Now, one of the things that I found that works for me is to just face reality. I know sometimes easier said than done because we start idealizing how we want that relationship to be or how we would like certain things to work in our favor in the relationship. What I will say is that we can usually think about those times where that was something that made us feel frustrated and uncomfortable in the relationship because we're trying to communicate or we would like the communication with that person to be a lot better than it is, but it doesn't look like it's ever going to change. So accept that. Yeah, easier said than done, right? But accept it. Say, okay, well, for some reason or another, and you may come to know what those reasons are. This person, they don't do intimacy. They don't open up about themselves a lot. Now, usually there's a story behind that story. And you may or may not know what it is. So just accept the reality that what that person is showing you is what's their truth. That's real for them. That's where they are. So accept it. The other thing that has helped me out is to change my perception. Just change my perception about it, which kind of goes right into what I was just talking about. Instead of idealizing how I would like for me and these other people to, or another individual to communicate more effectively. So see, I don't have to idealize it. So I can shift or change my perception and just say it is what it is. Because when we idealize things, we get a certain other picture of the reality that is usually not true. It doesn't reflect what it really is. So changing your perception means you're not idealizing it anymore. We deal with triggers, right? This is something we don't even like to talk about, yet alone think about. So triggers is something that can occur when we are dealing with conflicts in any relationship. Those triggers can come up. Right? So when the triggers come up, as far as I'm concerned, I look at it like this is an opportunity. Now, it took me some time to get here, guys. I didn't get here overnight. I'm just sharing with you guys some of the things that help me to resolve issues that can come up with in any relationship, not just with a narcissist, but with any relationship, right? So one of the things that I started doing was if those triggers start, coming up and I feel it coming on, I take a breather. First of all, I take a breather, and I just kind of try to bring it down. But I look at those moments as instead of the person being against me and they're trying to attack me and I'm taking it personally, I just look at those triggers as an opportunity to grow, opportunity to even resolve issues. Okay, not just look at it like, oh, they're trying to attack me, they're against me, blah, 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 right? I look at it as when those triggers start coming up, I look at that as an opportunity to resolve major issues that are in the relationship. I look at it as an opportunity to resolve issues. Now, for example, to resolve certain issues in that relationship, one of the solutions may be to end the relationship. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just using that as an example. Accept the reality that that relationship has run its course. Okay, what did you learn in that relationship? What valuable lessons did you learn? Which kind of interwove or connects with what I just said about looking at the opportunities for issues to be resolved, right? What did you learn in that relationship? Because every relationship, whether it's toxic or healthy, are designed to help us to grow and to learn some major lessons. Not because we're bad, not because we're evil, not because we're being punished. No, to learn some of the most valuable lessons in life. One of the major reasons why we have relationships is to grow and to learn some very valuable lessons in life. So when those triggers start coming up, I have taught myself to look at the opportunities to learn something. Look for the opportunities to resolve issues that probably really need to be resolved.